Good evening. I want to share with you something that happened. I just returned a few moments ago from over the hill in Bethlehem, from a scene that is really hard to describe. It was a cave where the animals were housed. There, in a manger. But I need to pause. It's so overwhelming. I need to process all this, all that happened in just the last few hours. Can I do that with you? Can I share what happened so I might try to understand it myself? Let me start by sharing some of the background which made this moment so deeply moving for me and my fellow shepherds. You need to understand that when we're out in the fields like we are, caring for the sheep, we have lots of hours to think about our political situation, about God and his promises as they're recorded in the scriptures. After such long days, we often sit around the fire in the evening and share the thoughts that trouble us. Our minds and our hearts explore together the promises that God has given, which can help us in these troubling times, and we wonder why they haven't come yet. We are filled with these troubling moments, and we want God so desperately to move within us, within our nation, within the people. But this is nothing new. This is not something unique to our generation or to those of us in the fields now. This has been happening in the foothills of Judea here for generations. Our forefathers discussed these things. They spoke about the promises of God year after year. They taught this pattern to their children and then to the next generation, all the way down to us. We are now the grown ones, sharing the stories and thoughts with our children who are with us in the fields. One of the things that we often talk about is the contrast between the picture that God paints of what it will be like when he comes and the reality of our current situation, politically and spiritually. How different it is from that which God promises and what God desires. We long for the day when God will intervene and make these promises real. God promised glorious things to our nation. God promised to our forefather Abraham that we would be a great nation and that we would possess this land, the promised land. But right now, everything is so different. We are not even masters in our own land. We've been occupied by the Gentiles. The Romans are in power. They oppress us. They exploit us. They charge huge taxes. Their military force disrespects us and mistreats us. Even our own nation, our own people are troubled. Religious leaders exploit the poor. Our own leaders lack morals and often compromise with those Gentiles for their own power. Our nation has been in a mess. And again, this is not anything new. It has been nearly 600 years since we were ruled by a Jewish king. We have waited. We have hoped. For 6 centuries, we have prayed and waited for God to intervene. We've held to the hope that one day God would fulfill all these promises. Faithful followers of Yahweh have spent these centuries waiting and hoping. In long hours, we have reflected on that which we waited in hope. We reflected on years on God's promises. Let me share a few of them. Isaiah the prophet tells us a lot about this. Arise, shine, for your light has come. The glory of the Lord has risen upon us. See, the darkness covers the earth. Thick darkness is over all the peoples, but the Lord rises upon you. His glory appears to you. The nations will come to your light, and the kings to the brightness of your dawn. Do you see the promise is that God is going to come and he's going to appear and that light will shine. He will make himself known. And in doing so, the promises of to our father Abraham, that he will be blessed and that he will be a blessing to all the nations, will come true. The glory of God will be revealed and all the nations will come to us. We long for that day. We hope for that day. And we know that when that day comes, this glorious appearing will change everything. Isaiah says, the Spirit of the sovereign Lord is on me, speaking not of himself, but of the one that's coming. Because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim the good news to the poor. He sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, release from darkness for the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor, the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn and provide for all those who grieve in Zion, to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, oil of joy instead of mourning, the garment of praise instead of the spirit of despair. And they will be called the oaks of righteousness, a planting for the Lord, for the display of his splendor. Our lives and our nations. And in reality, all the people will be transformed on that day when God's glory rises upon us. People will come and find healing and freedom and comfort and hope. It will be a glorious day. Now maybe you understand why we have been waiting with such longing for so long. And that's not all. As Isaiah continues to speak about this day of restoration, he says, they will rebuild ancient ruins and restore places long devastated. They will renew ruined cities that have been devastated for generations. Strangers will shepherd your flocks. Foreigners will work your fields and vineyards. You will be called priests of the Lord. You will be named ministers of our God. You will feed on the wealth of nations. The riches will boast. Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion. Instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in the inheritance. So you inherit a double portion of your land, and everlasting joy will be yours. These are the days and promises that we long for. And it's more than that. Not only will he do great things for our nation, the world will change. The earth will be different. The wolf will live with the lamb, and the leopard will lie down with the goat. The calf and the lion and the yearling together, and a little child will lead them. The cow will feed with the bear, and the young will lie down together. The lion will eat the straw like an ox. An infant will play near the cobra's den. The young child will put his hand in the viper's nest, and they will neither harm nor destroy in all my holy mountain. For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. So can you understand again why we have waited and we have hoped and we've longed for and we've talked about it day after day, year after year? We want God to bring this to be a reality. Can you understand how impatient we have been waiting for it? And again, all this is tied to the coming of God's anointed one, the Messiah. Remember, the Spirit of the Lord is on me to preach. That's one. Earlier in the book of Isaiah, the promise is a shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse, from a roots, a branch that will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, a spirit of counsel and of might, the spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord, and he will delight in the fear of the Lord. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes or decide by what he hears with his ears, but with righteousness he will judge the needy. With justice he will give decisions for the poor of the earth. He will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth, and the breath of his lips will slay the wicked. Righteousness will be his belt. Faithfulness will be a sash around his waist. So we wait and we hope for the promises to become a reality. We wait and we hope for this one to come. And so this is where it ties in with our trip to Bethlehem earlier this evening. But I'm sorry, I have to wait here for a moment. I need to go back out in the fields and relieve those who are right now watching. If you're okay with it, I'll come back another time and I'll share more of you about what happened and about what we were waiting for and how the event of Bethlehem ties into it. But before you go, just think about your own situation. Do you find yourself in a situation where you long for God to intervene? Where you're longing for God to do something for your benefit and for the benefit of the world? Are you placing your hope upon what God will do? Part of our journey is to learn how to wait and to hope.